Well, welcome back to NewsNation Now. You just saw President Biden speaking live in the state of Arizona. You know, the speech, as you heard, was about this idea of protecting democracy, right? But while the president was in that state, in Arizona, a fair amount of criticism came his way for not making a stop at the southern border while he was in the state, right? So right now we want to address that part of the story and the immigration debate that's been happening in the Congress. As Congressman Dan Crenshaw joins us, Republican from the state of Texas. And Congressman Crenshaw, it's good to see you. And I know you've done a lot of work on immigration. You have a task force that you're heading up in the Congress, taking on the Mexican drug cartels or looking into what they have been doing. Your thoughts on President Biden, though, and the criticism, as I said, that's come in that he did not visit the border when he was in Arizona today.
He wants to pretend that this crisis that he created doesn't exist. He knows it's a political liability. Most Americans want a secure border. The vast majority of Americans don't believe that you should have over 2 million people crossing just this year illegally across our southern border. He knows it's an unpopular issue. He doesn't want to talk about it. And it takes a lot of balls to go to Arizona, a border state, and not visit the border, not talk about this issue. You know, it really shows you something when he's talking about the institutions of democracy and the Constitution. Well, let me tell you, one part of that Constitution says that the executive branch is supposed to execute the laws of the land, and he is deliberately not executing the laws of the land by allowing this illegal parole system, which basically his administration has instituted, which allows millions of people to cross, and it creates that magnet for everyone to cross. That's an unsustainable prospect. It's unsustainable for our democracy and for our institutions, those very things that he was talking about in his speech.
Let me talk to you a little bit about that task force that you're involved in and what you guys are actually doing on this issue. As I do so, we'll bring up a tweet that you put out saying yesterday I had the honor of hosting the president of Ecuador to brief our congressional task force to combat the Mexican drug cartels. The task force has been tapped to holistically analyze cartel operations and destroy them. So what have you learned in your analysis, and how far are we moving along the line to trying to destroy them? What have you come up with?
Well, it's a long conversation. Look, the Mexican drug cartels are the most powerful in the world. Their reach is across the region, so that's why we had the president of Ecuador come address us and talk to us about how it affects Ecuador. The task force is supposed to be traveling to Colombia next week to get some lessons learned. I mean, Mexico is in where Colombia was 30 years ago. There's a lot of lessons to be learned from Colombia and how they dealt with their issues with the cartels and then the guerrilla insurgencies. I've traveled all over the region. I'm taking the task force all over the region over the next couple months. Look, what we need is much better and more public cooperation between the U.S. military and the Mexican military. I'm accused a lot of saying I want to invade Mexico. That's nonsense. We want to work with the Mexican government, and we want to take the fight to the Mexican cartels that are killing Mexicans on a daily basis. But you want to use the military, our United States military, more on the border. That part is true, right? They wouldn't be so useful on the border. I want them to work hand in glove with the Mexican military. We do this all over the world. Yeah, I want them, whether it's training, equipping. Look, we need to talk. The Mexican government has to allow it. We have these kind of cooperation agreements all over the world. This is very normal in Colombia, for instance, where we have a persistent presence of special forces that constantly are working with the Colombians on a constant basis. They're always there. We have nothing like that in Mexico, and Mexico is supposed to be our greatest ally. I mean, they're at our southern border. I tell people, if you could choose one country in the world and you would make it 10 times safer and 10 times better, and it couldn't be your own country, which country would you choose? It would be Mexico. They should be our best friend. We should want them to be prosperous and safe, and they should want that help from us. You know, they are fighting the cartels. They have military units that fight the cartels, but they don't have the resources they need. We need them to ask us for those resources, and we should be willing to give them. One other issue, Congressman, if I may, while you're here. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your thought. I was saying that, yeah, that sends a message to the cartels that they've crossed the line with killing Americans with fentanyl.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.